Hello everybody and welcome to my Draft League Week 1 Team Builder video, where it'll be me, the Hartford Haxorus, versus Devin and the New Orleans Zangoose. So I have a roster of Zapdos, Sylveon, Metagross, Crocodile, Jellicent, Lantern, Lopunny, Zygarde, Shaman, Talonflame, and Yanmega. And my opponent has a roster of Dragonite, Hawlucha, Tsarina, Cobalion, Mesprit, Typenol, Mega Diancie, Weavile, Entei, Raichu Alola, and Corsola. So the team I'll be bringing this week is a team of Lopunny, Metagross, Zapdos, Crocodile, Jellicent, and Talonflame. So the reason I'm bringing Lopunny is because, well, his team just does not have anything that deals with it. Almost nothing deals with Lopunny well in the first place, but he really doesn't have any great defensive walls with even a great defensive stat. There's like, Entei can probably take a hit. I think Diancie can threaten back and take a hit. Mesprit can take a hit. Cobalion really can't. Has to fear high jump kick, which almost always OHKOs. So he really only has a few options. Dragonite can take a hit, but it doesn't want to because it usually wants to set up. So he'll really only have options of like Mesprit, Diancie, and Entei for switch-ins. And even then, those are very limited. They're only going to take a few switch-ins. Fakeout's just great priority, especially when it's stab and breaks sashes, things like that. Return just for the stab. Drain Punch because I don't want to risk missing high jump kick and protect shenanigans, things like that. I just don't want to get protected on things like that. And Ice Punch is good for hitting Hawlucha and Dragonite. I was thinking about going Toxic here so that I can poison Hawlucha and Dragonite if they ever wanted to try and set up on me. And then poison Mesprit or whatever my switch-in happens to be. But I felt like that was just relying too much on prediction, and I'd rather just have the Ice Punch and be safe. For EVs, it's just fast enough to outspeed Weavile, and the rest goes in HP. Unfortunately, to outspeed Weavile, it does have to be adamant. So, second Pokemon on the team is AV, Max Buff, Max HP, Metagross. So, this is my answer to Mega Diancie. It comes in, and priority Bullet Punch is fantastic against Diancie. Hits Weavile. I think with Max Speed F AV, Bullet Punch doesn't quite kill Weavile or Diancie, but like Earth Power does like 40 to this from Diancie. So it's really not that big a deal, and Meteor Mash kills both of them. And he doesn't really have many great switch-ins into this. His best switch-in will probably end up being something like Entei, and Entei does not take Earthquake very well, which is also good for me. So yeah, this is just my answer to Diancie, and he doesn't switch very well into it, and it's just a good bulky Pokemon in general. You can switch into Weavile's Icicle Crashes if I know he locks himself into it. Yeah, Ice Punch for Dragonite and Hawlucha if I need to. Meteor Mash just for good stab and getting the attack raises. Always OHKOs Diancie if it's Mega Evolved. Bullet Punch for the priority, and Earthquake for hitting Entei and Diancie, especially if Diancie gets low enough so that Earthquake doesn't matter. I can hit Entei if it wants to come in, no matter what. My Zapdos is really critical this match. It's a fantastic check to Cobalion, Hawlucha, and Dragonite. All of them can learn Stone Edge, which is a little bit of a problem, but I have HP Ice, which is quite effective on Dragonite. Discharge, which has the 30% chance to para, which will completely end any of their setups. Roost for just getting health back, and Static is good because if I switch this in on any of their given moves, they also have a 30% chance to get paralyzed, which will completely end their setup. Lefties just to try and get some health back, turn some 2-hit KOs into 3-hit KOs, things like that. And Defog, because as I'll talk about later, rocks are pretty scary against my team, so I need to make sure they don't go up. What I'm thinking most likely will be his switching into my Lopunny will either be Entei or Mesprit. And I wanted to bring Crocodile, A, because it's a good matchup, especially with a Scarf, but B, because it's a fantastic switch into Mesprit. Knockoff is just a great move. Nothing appreciates getting knocked off. Earthquake kills Mega Diancie no matter what. Stone Edge kills Weavile no matter what. Knockoff is just great stab, great move, and I have rocks just for having him in case I want to get him up. Well, they're actually pretty good against this team because they hit Hawlucha and Dragonite hard, and after a Stealth Rock, Zapdos guarantees kills Hawlucha with a Discharge. So that's good. So yeah, so it's just the only thing I don't like. I kind of tempted to run Brick Break over Stone Edge just so that I always kill Weavile because I really don't like the 20% chance to miss, but I think I'll be going with Stone Edge. It's just fast enough to outspeed Adamant Dragonite with Scarf. I didn't want to outspeed Jolly because then if I go to Jolly, I have to be Jolly myself, and I'd rather just take the damage, and I think that affects my ability to OHKO things like Diancie, Weavile, or like makes them less guaranteed. So I'd rather just have the higher damage output. And I think Jolly Dragonite is a much less threatening Pokemon, especially because it makes Zapdos have a much easier time with it anyways. So yeah, that's the set. Next is my Jellicent. Jellicent's pretty much only here to have a guaranteed switch into Entei because without it, I really don't have anything that deals extremely well with Entei. I can't switch in. Obviously can't neither of these do well against Entei because Sacred Fire hits back really hard with the chance to burn. So I can't switch these in. I can't switch in Zapdos because it really can't threaten Entei out back. And Crocodile I can't risk the burn on for a switch in. So this has to be here for the switch in. This thing walls Entei to hell and back. Even Choice Banded, it does a max at like 40%. So Wisp is really free against this team. So he can come in, recover, start firing off Wisps or Scalds if he wants to stay in. But I also didn't want this thing to be completely useless if Entei didn't come. And since this thing walls Entei so well, especially even without leftovers, and even with a burn, he really can't break me with Entei. I decided to bring Colbur Berry. What this allows me to do is say I come in on Entei. He Sacred Fires, burns me, whatever. I'm down to like 40, or down to like 60. I decide to recover. He switches hard into his Weavile. Because that's something that's a very realistic possibility. If he tries to knock off on me, I can just Wisp him and completely take his Weavile out of the game. And Weavile is probably his biggest threat to my team in the game right now. That's really the only thing I'm very afraid of. So if I can Wisp his Weavile, that'll be absolutely fantastic for me. He doesn't even come close to killing me with a Weavile when I have this on, even with a band. He could definitely be Adamant because I don't have anything keeping him from not wanting to be. Even then, Knockoff doesn't kill, and if I get that burn off, then I can just wall the hell out of him, start recovering on him, turn this thing into a non-threat. So yeah, a lot of this goal of this game is going to be to burn Weavile and start taking advantage of it. I have HP fighting for taking on, just said H like a British person. I have HP fighting for taking on Weavile, although I'm sort of thinking to changing it because I think Scald will deal well enough with it anyways, and I'll be Wisping it anyways. So I'm not so sure. I might change it. So if there's anything that changes between now and the battle, it'll probably be that. So yeah, max defense Jellicent taking on Weavile, or surprising Weavile, switching into Ice Shard if I know he locks himself into that. And always checking Entei no matter what. My last Pokemon is Talonflame. Originally this was a Sylveon, because Sylveon's really the only thing that can take anything from Weavile and not get 2-hit KO'd. But I decided that I wanted this instead. So what's really cool about Talonflame is that it outspeeds Weavile by a single point. So 285, this outspeeds Weavile no matter what unless it's Scarfed, and got max defense and a little bit of HP. So I got Flame Body on this, which means I always can come in on Weavile, always have the 30% chance to burn, and Weavile will never kill me. I'll pull up the calcs so you can see. So Flare Blades always kills him unless he's like max HP. Like even then it has a chance. But I won't be Flare Blitzing this anyways. Because even Adamant Band will take the burn off. Well, first of all, I can identify that it's Adamant Band if I come in. And then I'm always faster, so I'll have a chance to always roost on him. And just roost until he burns himself. And once he burns himself, he's pretty much out of the game, and I can just Flare Blitz and kill him. But this thing, I can just come in and roost against Weavile until he wants to switch out or until he burns himself. And if I identify that he's banned and I can't stay in and continue roosting like I want to, if I identify that and he's Icicle Crash, which is the only scenario where I can't stay in, because if he's knock off, he's going to get burnt before he kills me, because he's only gaining a net 4 to 10 damage, or 4 to 14. And if you realize he's banned into Icicle Crash, which is the only thing that can, that's a free Metagross or a free Jellicent. So that's good. And if he's Scarf, which is the only way he could ever outspeed me and prevent me from getting Roost off first, he's not doing enough damage for me to care. And so yeah, this is actually, I mean, if it's an Icicle Crash, that's a little bit of a problem, but even then, I can still go straight into my Metagross. But if I get the burn off, he's pretty much finished. I have no item just so I can take knockoffs better, and so Acrobat does more damage. What this thing also is for is his Serena, because in test games, I really wasn't expecting Serena to be a threat, but I really don't. Where are we? It's Serena. With the Choice Band, I really don't switch into it very well. It's similar to Weavile, where if like I get it wrong, and even Metagross, which is my only resist to grass, along with Zapdos, I really don't want either of these taking damage, because I want these to be dedicated checks for Dragonite, Hawlucha, and Cobalion in the case of Zapdos, and only for Diancie. I really don't want them taking extra damage, because that makes their other jobs harder. So this takes the pressure off of those a lot, and gives me a completely dedicated check to Weavile and Serena that can deal with them both effectively. Acrobatics does like 70 to 80 to Serena, which is good. And Flare Blitz, you saw, almost always kills unless it's max HP for some reason. And even then it has a chance to, but I'm really not going to be trying to. I'm just going to be trying to roost on them until they burn themselves, or whisk back if I really need to. And just keep this thing healthy throughout the game. Has a great speed tier this game. Yeah. So, Dragonite, Hawlucha, I have Zapdos for. Serena, I got Talonflame for. Cobalion, I got Zapdos for. Mesprit, I'm switching in with Crocodile type Null. This thing really isn't scary. I'll probably just switch in with Zapdos because I want to keep his rocks off, and Defog is for keeping his rocks off. I think the only way I'll lose this game is either he somehow breaks my Metagross with his Diancie, which is a problem. Which I think it will be very difficult for him to do. He'll probably need to get some Earth Power predictions, crits, Bidef drops, which would suck. If his Weavile hacks through my Talonflame with like crits or something, or if he gets rocks up and makes it so that my Talonflame can't check his Weavile as well anymore. I think those are the only way I can possibly lose the game, because I have switch into everything. Because Metagross is there solely for Diancie. Weavile I've got Talonflame for, Entei I got Jellicent for. Raichu, Metagross can take it on fine. And Corsola, that's not even a real Pokemon. So, yeah, I think I should win this game so long as rocks don't go up and as long as I don't get hacks. Because Lopunny really doesn't have very great answers. I can get in, fake out, start doing some damage, switch into my appropriate checks, try and just beat down his team with my checks, because I have a lot of defensive options that can also really damage his team. And a lot of them he doesn't have very great switch-ins for. So, hopefully this team is able to take him down. I don't think he has very many good defensive Pokemon, especially in the way I do. I've got a lot of solid defensive threats that can take some hits. And he doesn't really have too many that can. He's got Entei, which can take some hits. Type Null, but that's not really threatening. Cobalion can take some hits and fire back. And so can Mesprit. But all of those don't have great typing or synergy, and I have solid switch-ins to all of them. Zygarde is one thing you might be asking why I didn't bring. And it's just because Serena is a great check for it. And he has a Weavile with Ice Shard, so I feel like I do not want to be letting in Weavile often for free, and I don't think it's ever going to be able to break Serena quickly. And even if it does, it brings Weavile in, and I want to keep Weavile out as much as possible because it is such a dangerous Pokemon. And I think everything else serves a more critical role than Zygarde would. So yeah, hopefully this team's able to bring out the win, and yeah, the video of the battle should be uploaded soon.